So word on the street is Jennette McCurdy doesn't consider herself a role model. And this probably has to do with her lingerie photos being leaked on the internet. I mean, I'm sure there are people who do believe that Jennette is a role model due to being on Nickelodeon from her iCarly days up to her Sam and Cat days. Jennette says, I am not a role model. I don't claim to be, I don't try to be, I don't want to be. The way Jennette explains about not being a role model reminds me of what Charles Barkley said in the 1993 Nike Air commercial about not being a role model as well. Let me give you a listen of what Charles Barkley said.
I am not a role model. I am not paid to be a role model. I am paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court. Parents should be role models. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids.
That's deep. They don't make commercials like that like they used to. Charles Barkley said it best. Just because I can dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids. Get him, Sir Charles. I mean, if Jennette made some kind of commercial the way Charles Barkley did, I could see her saying, just because I'm good at entertainment doesn't mean I have to raise your kids. And just like Charles Barkley said, I am paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court, I could see Jennette saying, I am paid to act in front of the camera. Jennette continues saying this, with the growing I've done, I realize that to attempt to live up to the idea of being a role model is to self myself up to for foregone failure. Sure, I've made some mistakes, but even if I haven't, people would have found invisible ones. This world is one seemingly most keen judgment and negativity. So true, Jennette. What's with the judgment and the negativity? Last thing she says, I am proud of the way I live my life. I am proud of my choices. I am proud that no one can call me fake or say I don't stand up for myself. I am proud that my friends and family would say that I'm a good person. Well, at least Jennette was brave enough to stand up for herself and say what she had to say. If Jennette doesn't want to be considered a role model, then she doesn't want to be considered one. This article at HollywoodLife.com has a poll question if people think Jennette is a role model. 18.43% says yes, 27.24% says used to be, and 54.32% says no. Dang! I've heard people say, I hate to burst Jennette's bubble, but she is a role model regardless, whether she likes it or not. You can't just choose to not be a role model. Well, this is how she feels. At least she's keeping it real and not being fake like these other celebrities. Jennette's not perfect. No one is perfect. She just wants to forget everything that went down that ever happened. Some will say, of course she's a role model because she was on Nickelodeon. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's like saying that a person's a role model because he or she is on Disney Channel. I mean, I don't think Miley Cyrus is a good role model, especially with her smoking a bong and the way she is now. Oh my goodness. Justin Bieber is not a role model due to being a Canadian jerk who enjoys drag racing while drunk, calling fans beach whales, and just acting like a juvenile Canadian thug. Oh, but the Bieber fans, no matter what, will stick by his side saying things like, shut up, Bieber is a role model and so dreamy, so stop hating just because you're not him. Enough with the ignorant bull crap. He's not, and stop letting looks get in the way. It's all about personality. Why don't you stick to Michael Jackson, Elvis, Corbin Bleu, Ross Lynch, anybody that's not Bieber? Do kids even consider their parents as role models anymore? I mean, I'm sure there are some kids who do, but it seems like a lot of them have celebrities as their role models. I mean, there's nothing wrong having people as role models, whether they are celebrities or non-celebrities. I mean, as long as he and she are not hurting anyone, robbing banks, involved in domestic violence, and not getting arrested over and over again, then there is nothing to worry about. Some parents can be bad role models if they do any of the four things I just mentioned. You never know. I mean, there's nothing wrong having both your parents and certain celebrities as your role models. How about both? You know, Jennette McCurdy has had a rough year in 2014, breaking up with Andre Drummond, her lingerie pics getting leaked on the internet. Jennette didn't get paid enough when doing Sam and Cat, while Ariana got paid more, obviously due to her music career skyrocketing. The two girls possibly had a feud ruining their friendship. Poor Jennette. Hopefully the next 4 months left in 2014 things will get better for her. If not, there's always next year in 2015. Anyways, tell me your thoughts on Jennette McCurdy not considering herself as a role model and standing up for herself. Also the things she had to say. Also, you can give me your thoughts on what Charles Barkley said about him not being a role model. And is there anybody who thinks Jennette is a role model despite her not approving it? And props to Jennette and Charles Barkley for having the courage to speak their minds. Fight the power. Chuck D and Flavor Flav, show them how it's done.
Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be. Algorithms designed to bounce with calcium that can rise. Designed to fill your mind now that you realize the prize arrives. We got to pump the stuff to make it tough. From the heart, it's a start, a work of art to revolutionize, make a change, something strange.